wanting to make a bench out of them. So I just put this board on here, and so I could clean them off. I want to spray paint these things black. Bought the spray paint already. And then today I went and picked up these cedar boards. They look really nice. They need to be sanded down. So I'm going to cut these to length. Alright, so what I'm doing here is I'm cutting these boards square. So you use a square. It looks like a triangle, but it's a square. I'm not making any marks. This is just the first cut, so I'm just trying to get this end cut straight so that I can cut that other side square as well. Alright, so now I flipped the boards over. This is the cut side. Now I need to cut it for length. And the problem is if this board is split, this board has a real bad spot in it, and then this board's split pretty far down. So I want to cut all the boards the same length. I think this is the longest problem, so I'll cut it here, and then I'll cut them all to that length. I'll use all this off-ball for something else. Alright, while these boards are drying, got one coat of stain on them. They look really good. I'm going to paint the legs of this project. Okay, deck boards are really starting to look good now. Starting to dry. These are cedar, so they're going to be outdoor though. They should last a while. Now the spray paint that I had is like a matte. You can pick this up on camera, but it's like a really dry color. It's going to be outdoor, so I think this will look good. Okay, I painted the legs, and I put the first two boards on here, the this middle slat is not set yet, just holding it up. But I got these 2-inch bolts. They're a little long, but I didn't know my distance, so I bought 2-inch, and then I'll just cut that excess off. So carriage bolts, 1/4, 2 inches long, and then I got the washers and the nuts to go with it. So I measured the distance from the edge to where the eye is, and it's about 1 inch. So I'm actually going to drill the hole at 7/8 so that it's a little bit off the side. You can see here I can't quite get my finger in there, but it's not super tight. Getting the holes in the right side, getting the hole in the left side, and then I'll take this middle post and I'll get it lined up in the center after I do all the boards. So I measured in that 7/8, and then I also measured to the middle of the board so that I drill my holes right on the center every single time on both sides. I already got my measurements on every single board. So I'm going to get both the sides fully done before I do the center. Because here's what's interesting. On these side pieces, the holes are pretty much centered. I measured them. But what's weird about this center post is all the holes are off to the left side. So to try and measure exactly where the holes need to be, I probably could do that, but I think it might be easier just to throw that thing on here, do the hole in the middle on the first board, do the hole in the middle on the top board, and then the rest should just line up, and I can drill from the back side, and that way every single hole will be right where it needs to be and there won't be any pressure. Also, some of these boards are warped, and if I do it this way, I might be able to push this board and then drill the hole, and then all the gaps will be consistent through the whole entire bench. But now we're gonna have a big long bench for a bunch of us to sit on instead of a short bench. So just to make sure that when I drill these, my drill goes right where I want it to go, I have the measurement where it crosses, and I'm going to stick this in there to get a little bit of hole, and that'll keep my drill from wandering. Alright, so these carriage bolts have a square on the ends to keep this from spinning when you're tightening the bolt on the bottom side. So after I put these in here, I'm taking my hammer and hitting it down so that that square will be down flush inside the wood, and it'll keep that thing from spinning. Okay, so I got all the boards on. They're not tightened down all the way, but I got it looking like a bench. Now, in order to get this middle one where it needs to go, these boards are 6 foot long, so I measured over 3 foot, and then I can line this up, the middle of this with this, and as long as I eyeball it and get it close, I'm good with that. And then the same thing on the front. Measured over 3 foot. There's my mark. I don't know if you can see that on camera. And then I want to line the middle of this up with the middle of that, so I'll have to adjust it slightly. But then I will screw up into these holes through the underside, and wherever it lands, it lands. So I started with this first one. I got it lined up right here on the center. There's my mark to the center of this. And then I screwed through from this side, got my bolt on there, tightened it. Now, the rest of these are loose, but I'll do this first one and I'll do that front one, which will get it square, and then I'll go through and spread these boards out. Like right here, there's a big gap, so I'll close that gap up and then screw it in. Okay?
Me and Jenna, I said me, Charlie, and you. Okay, what if I said Jenna, Charlie,
Alright, now you can test sitting on it.
Would it be faster if you just put holes through it until you get up to here?
Well, I gotta screw from the other side because the other side's metal. And I don't want to ruin my bits. Okay, I don't know how much you can pick this up, but this board right here is bowing, so I want to try and squeeze these two boards together so that the slats are the same size. So I got a strap on here with 2 D-rings, and basically I'm going to squeeze these